What's up? This is the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, and you're in the room with Brady Hicks. How can I bear this longer to bring you all of my heart?
We're on easy, and it feels so sweet, 'cause the world is but a treat, and you're on easy street, and we're breaking out the good champagne. Pretty on the gray.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're on Easy Street tonight. I cannot be happier to be joining all of you once again. It's In the Room on the VOC Nation Wrestling Network, right here live on VOCNation.com, and of course, on demand on your favorite podcast provider. And we have a great show planned for tonight. Like I said, I couldn't be more excited. My name is Brady Hicks. Joining me once again, we have the lovely Kathy Fitz. What's going on, Kathy?
Hey, Brady, what's cooking tonight?
Nothing. We're just hanging out. We got a major surprise kind of waiting in the wings. So I think the fans are really going to enjoy it. We also have the one and only Maestro of Professional Wrestling, Papa Stro. How you doing, sir?
Oh, great to be here with you all. It's definitely the highlight of the week for me, man. Always.
Oh, me too. But it makes me wonder what your week really is like if this is your highlight.
Right.
I'm kidding. It is for me too. It is for me too. We also have the incomparable Ray Bogus. What's going on, Ray? How you doing tonight?
I am doing fantastic, Brady. At some point this evening, you're going to have to give me some time to just talk about how much I've fallen in love with Mark Henry in his current role.
Mark Henry. Okay. Well, we'll have to do that for sure. And I don't have the drum roll ready, but you know what? So Matt Grimm, as we know, he is expecting his first child in the coming weeks, and he's also very busy with his job, so he's going to be taking a little bit of time. And I don't expect to see him back before October or November. Honestly, once he gets away, I don't think he'll ever want to come back. But we'll see. But joining us on the line right now is a more than suitable replacement. Actually, I feel like this is just huge for us here tonight. And the quality is going to go way up because we are welcoming a legend, as he shakes his head no. Jim Molineaux, a former ECW referee.
Yeah. All right.
Promoter, trader, he's done it all.
Right.
What's going on, Jim?
Yeah.
Peace and love. How are you? How's everybody?
Pretty
Hey, Kathy,
good.
how are you?
Hey, Jim. Good. How are you doing?
Good. You have no, if I do sign on a full-time basis, you have no worry about me taking paternity leave.
I don't know. you look like a spry young man of at least 25, 30, maybe if not older. And
Yeah.
so that would certainly put you in the running to have children. I can't imagine a fine young lass turning you down.
Maybe 35 years ago, I was a young 25.
Well, your chances maybe are a little bit better than mine, Jim, but it's okay. I'm only kidding. 914-338-1885 is the number. And I think we already got a couple callers. I promise we're going to get to you guys real soon. Usually what we do, and it's so weird for me because usually Matt kind of throws that first topic, and it's just something that I can run with. And, Matt's not here. Ray, you were talking about Mark Henry. What's so special about Mark Henry?
I mean, I'm not sure this is necessarily the lead-in topic, but sure, I'll give it a whirl.
We don't got a lot tonight, so now we do.
I kind of thought we did, but all right, that's fine. So look, for years, we've had these awful backstage interviews where WWE and until AEW came along, TNA, would just kind of throw these random people or like random attractive woman backstage with a microphone. And I suppose that works for your weekly shows, but none of them ever had like the gravitas of someone that you want kind of being that standalone interviewer on a show. And son of a gun, if Mark Henry doesn't just fit that role beautifully, and he's good at it.
Yeah.
Like he asks us some questions and he kind of just stands there all happy and smiling, and it just feels important. And you know, all the time we see guys that are past their prime and really need to not be wrestling anymore, and they wrestle like we're going to see some other very large wrestler who I love do this Sunday for no particular reason. And it's nice to see someone who, by all accounts, is very likable, actually fit into a non-wrestling role really well.
Oh, I agree. He's great. I really enjoy Mark Henry's commentary so far.
It's weird for me.
Not on the booth.
They have what, like? Yeah, and I was going to say they have like 4 or 5 guys in the booth.
He doesn't feel comfortable. When he's speaking, it sounds like he's not comfortable on the booth. But when it's just him, and the instructions are talk to this wrestler, he does a really good job of it.
Yeah, I mean it's natural to him. I mean it just comes natural.
I agree. I think he's really good at it, but I don't like the way they've set it up, where it's 3 different screens. I'd like to see him do a sit down, not a Miz TV or something like that. A serious, sit down, more like a talk show thing. And if you give him that 5 minutes, I think that would be a little bit better, because I think he can react more back and forth on a personal basis with whoever he's interviewing him. But I just think he's kind of he's crunched in this middle screen.
Yeah.
And he's such an imposing person. He should have the full screen.
They got the tall view, so it's like this, But but he's good though. I agree. I honestly, and it's been a long time that I can think of, at least, since we've had a really good backstage interviewer. Letitia Klein in TNA, maybe. I mean, that was a good 15 years ago. I'm struggling there. I think it's a niche. It's a niche.
It is. I think the fact you're even reaching back to that sort of speaks to the sort of dearth we're looking at. I think I love the idea of giving him like a 5-minute segment to sort of help build one of your more major matches, just because I think he would fit that too. But I think those are 2 separate things. What he's doing now is valuable and important, and I wouldn't want to trade it. So if it's he's doing what he's doing now, yes, without the 3 screens, which are just the most ridiculous thing. Yeah. If he's doing what he's doing now and doing the interview, great. But I don't want to trade it.
No, fair enough. And I was kind of looking at AEW. I don't know if you guys saw, but Rampage actually tumbled back down this past week with the ratings. And I'm not a huge ratings guy. I don't worry about that kind of stuff usually. But CM Punk's debut got them like 1.1 million, which in my opinion, again, that puts you in striking distance of Raw. You're not there yet, but if WWE's pulling like a 1.8, you're like a really good one of your shows and a really bad one of theirs away from really closing that gap. But this week they lost 400,000 viewers. 400,000 people after CM Punk's debut did not tune in the following Friday.
Well, I
found that really interesting.
That goes to tell you what their product is, because the biggest thing on their television show was non-confrontational. Where if you look at the matches that they've had, and I don't want to say they brought the ratings down, but that non-confrontational moment was so important, not just to the company but the wrestling business. There should have been a way for them to follow it up with some kind of match the next week that would have brought them back. And not necessarily even doing with CM Punk, but something that would have brought the people back the following week to see what the show is really about for those who just tuned in to see CM Punk.
Yeah.
Right. I totally agree.
Yeah, it's go ahead, Ray.
Honestly, I agree too, and I think the most interesting part of what Jim just said there is that the match didn't have to be with Punk, and in reality, you wouldn't want it to be, because if the match is with Punk, you're not necessarily selling anybody on anyone else. If I casually tuned in for CM Punk, a match with CM Punk is not going to make me I'm already invested.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a couple of tag teams that are really over, and you get eyes on a lot of guys at once in a real match. That
you talking about the dinosaurs?
I sure am.
I love the dinosaurs. They're
Who
great.
doesn't? But you get a match. You get
Jurassic Express. Yeah.
Oh, those
yeah.
God, there's just so much to love.
I love it.
But you get a tag match where you get eyes on maybe 4 guys, plus a manager if you pick the right team, and as long as the match is presented as something big and important and meaningful to both what's happened and what's coming down, now you've made something. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Jim, that was actually one of the strengths of ECW. I always thought, they'll present something in the ring, non-wrestling. It'll be, they'll talk or whatever, but then they always followed it up with that confrontation. There was always that sizzle, and it made it really special. And I think a lot of companies, not just AEW, have really kind of struggled to follow. They're really good at getting people to look in their direction, but they have a really hard time getting them to stay.
Right.
And I think that's an issue. I think that's an issue for sure.
It is for me. And you were just talking about tag teams. The prime example with AEW is FTR coming in. They were pushed as supposedly the next greatest thing since sliced bread in the world of tag team wrestling. And they come to AEW, and they've had one match against the Bucks, because the Bucks were supposed to be the best team in the world, and FTR is supposed to be the best team in the world. So they haven't wrestled each other. The Bucks go, Bucks win. Bucks are now supposedly, quote unquote, the best team in the world. And FTR was buried ever since.
Sure.
They completely disappeared. I don't know why you don't want that constant confrontation between talents like that. Maybe it's because your executive producers for the tag team division are that one tag team. And
conflict of interest, right?
Right. I mean, why not have yourself involved in something that big? But then again, you're maybe it's your own ego that won't allow that to happen.
And they're not the only team. Like FTR isn't the only team that's kind of gotten, tossed by the wayside in the wake of the Bucks. Look at Santana and Ortiz, where they were like a year ago versus like now. They're just, and I know almost everybody in AEW is in a gang, but they're really just part of a gang. I don't even consider them really much of a team at this point.
And look at a team that they created with the Varsity Blondes, and the way they have them. I understand that they're a new tag team, they're a young tag team, and they're gonna put other teams over, but I don't understand why they constantly are burying Pillman Jr. He's always taking the pin. Why? I don't understand that.
I don't know. And he's good.
I don't get it either.
Real good.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think
he is really good.
Unfortunately, I know, and I hate to be critical of the people in charge, but I think it comes back down to the theory of someone's ego.
And it could be. It could be. Maybe that's a question to kind of put to the crowd. And I know that the listeners, I know in particular, one of them is a huge AEW fan. Steve. We'll get you on in a little bit, Steve, but I'm curious about that, and not just AEW, but even if you look in WWE, right? Your tag team champions on Raw, a makeshift team. The Usos are around, sure, and I really liked what the Street Profits were doing last year, but by and large, the tag team division is guys that weren't a tag team a year ago. And I think that's an issue. I really do, because, back in the day, I loved seeing the Road Warriors, Demolition, the Hart Foundation, the British Bull, the list goes on. The Eliminators. My God, Jim, the Eliminators were incredible. They were one of my favorites. The Pitbulls, many great teams.
Amazing.
And nobody seems to have that chemistry anymore. So is tag team wrestling, is it still a thing? Can it still be?
I think
I don't know.
I think in AEW it can, but and I don't know whether this is true or not, but I've heard it, for the last 20 years that Vince McMahon is not a fan of tag team wrestling. So that's why you see the tag teams kind of, thrown together and let's see what sticks at the wall, as opposed to, back in the day with an NWA or a WCW, whichever you want, whatever you want to call it, in whatever time period you're looking at, you had tag teams that had worked together for years before that. Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express, Fantastics, the Steiners. I mean, you're not going to get tag teams like that anymore because they're not allowed to. There's nowhere for them to develop as a tag team anymore. And then when they take them, they're not hiring tag teams. They're hiring individual talents. Right. When was the last time they hired, WWE brought in a tag team that they had hired?
I couldn't even tell you.
The Viking guys would be the last ones that I would think. And even them,
the Usos.
They're not, and they're not using them the way they could.
No,
for sure. It's interesting for sure. And I never really thought about that, about Vince not really caring for the tag teams, but that probably is true. Just based on kind of what we're seeing. So 914-338-1885 is the number to call in. I'm actually going to go to the phones, and we're going to bring on Mike just to derail this discussion.
Oh, he's back.
What's going on, Mike? How you doing, brother?
Yeah.
Talk about a revival.
Brother.
What's going on?
Good. Just getting a break. Just getting a little break. I just want to say, first of all, congratulations to Britsburg.
To Britsburg? Yeah.
For the victory.
Huge Britt Baker fan.
Yeah. Congratulations to her. Yeah,
for what?
Existing.
For her victory championship, I think.
Okay, I got you.
Red Velvet? I can't remember who she wrestled. But, yeah.
Oh, Britt Baker. You mean her big title defense from this week?
Oh, who she?
I don't know, Mike.
I don't follow it too much.
No, you just know her. You don't know anybody that she fights.
She's a nice girl. Yeah,
what about the tag teams, Mike? We're talking about the tag teams tonight. What do you think of the tag teams in AEW?
Oh, I think they're great. I really like it. They just mentioned the Varsity Blonde. I can't think. I love watching. The tag team. I can't think with. He used to wrestle in WWE. I'm having
the revival. FTR.
He has. Remember the guy that passed away with that one group? He was real famous. I can't think of his name.
Oh, Brody. Brody Lee.
The group he's. Yeah, I can't think of the guy. It's not Shawn Michaels, but it's a guy who used to wrestle with WWE. He's with the group. I can't think of his name. There's a couple of them I like.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Which decade was this?
Which decade are you calling from?
Oh, hey, got me. I'm lost on that too. Hey, I just want to say, I got off jury duty. It was
good for you. Good for you.
Yay.
California. And guess what the judge's name was? Oh, Judge.
Welcome to In the Room, Jim.
Yeah. This is the better end of it.
Well, this is how you get out of jury duty. Tell them you're an independent wrestler.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I'm so stressed that letter is going to come, especially now that I actually live in the city. I'm like, this is great. It's just and I just, my head is already spinning with what I want to try and say to get out of it, and I haven't even been called. So knock on wood. Knock on wood, Mike.
They're going to get you soon.
They better not.
Just don't renew any paperwork with the government.
Yeah, but what can you not renew? You know.
Like Fred Sanford says, leave it in the mailbox.
Yeah. Wish it could be like email, just go in my spam folder.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't see it.
I don't know what's worse, jury or going in the service.
Well,
Oh man.
I got answers on that, but I don't want to say them, so.
Yeah, don't blame you. Yeah. No, I've been
Was that you?
good situation. When I'm home with the church, right now, we've helped.
Yeah, how's the church going? You doing good?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, we helped a lot of people, take them off the street, giving them shelter, helping.
You feeding the homeless, or you put clothing on the naked or whatever? What is there? Feed the homeless, shelter the naked. I forget what it is. That was the one I latched on.
Feed the naked.
Feed the naked. You're the man, Mike.
Try and love every man. You're supposed to try and love everyone, but that's kind of hard to do when you get in the laundromat. You get somebody pushing you around, and
who the hell gets pushed around at a laundromat?
Oh man, I come close to getting.
Gotta get that last bottle of Tide. Dishwasher.
Who the hell buys detergent at the laundromat?
Oh no! When I was doing laundry this morning, some guy tried to, get a little rowdy in there. They got these guys. They
little rowdy. You had a towel fight or what?
Was you think he's going to Delta flight?
Yeah. Look at that.
It's about the mask. It was about wearing a mask. I had my mask
Is he calling
on.
from the original telephone?
It's attached to the wall.
Alexander Graham Bell. No, I know what it is, right? He's got one of those soup cans on a string. What are you doing with your fingers? That's really weird. Oh.
Oh, those are rolls for coins.
I didn't know what you were doing. I was like, is that really how his fingers look? Sorry, Mike. Sorry about that. So I'm glad to hear you're doing good, brother. And I'm glad you got the night off so you could call us. And it's
Yeah, are there no hungry or naked people for you to work with?
Oh no, we don't. We just if there is, you try and help them. That's our goal, is to try and get people off the street and help.
Well, that's what I'm asking. You have time.
You know what I used to do?
But aren't there hungry naked people?
You know what I used to do, Mike? In college, I would go around and I would look for naked girls so I could put clothes on them.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen anybody on the street that can approach you like a Terminator movie and say, have you seen a big bright light?
All right, Mike. Pleasure, man. You're the best.
Love you, Mike.
How's your brother doing, Mike? I never hear from him anymore.
You almost had him off the phone.
I know.
I did. He'll be off in a second.
Jim, he does this all the time.
I'm like, Jesus, bring the children to me. What?
Yeah, I don't know how Malcolm's doing.
Is he okay?
Pray for Malcolm. I don't know how.
Yeah, I haven't
I
heard from him in weeks. All right, brother. I'll pray for him, and you be safe.
Can I ask you one more thing before you go?
One more thing.
Your dog, the dog Licorice, had me busting up laughing. I mean, the pictures you had with Licorice.
Yeah.
You got to show me. I got to meet Licorice when I come back there next year.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah, there you go.
She's the spawn of Satan, so she'll still be alive.
I love it.
I'll talk to you,
when
brother.
I come back there next year to see, but you got to show me around the area, okay?
I will. We'll talk real soon, Mike. Love you, man.
You guys too.
You too, brother. See, Jim, this is what happens. I could talk to these guys all night, and they all hate it.
Do you call your dog Lick short? Call your dog Lick for short. So
yeah.
So
there's a lot of jokes there. It's not my dog, by the way. It's Kelly's dog.
When you call the dog to come into the house, do you say "Come lick"? Come lick.
No, I say lick come.
Or lick come. All right.
Yeah. No.
Right where I was going.
No.
Okay, I guess two immediate questions come to mind. First, was he calling from the 1870s? And number two, Brady, you're going to meet him next summer for no other.
I didn't know about that, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't know about that either. But I guess now,
whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Apropos of nothing, Brady, you do own a firearm, right?
Anyway, so this dog is so old.
No,
I got to carry her everywhere. She can't even go down the steps without falling anymore. And then she bites me, Kathy, when I try to carry her.
Kathy's got the hardware.
She's biting my face. It's awful, Kathy.
I got the gun.
Yeah, Kathy's got the hardware.
Kathy, I'm going to tell you I'm picking you up for a show, and you're going to get in the car, and Mike's going to be in it.
And I'll be getting out of the car.
Be like, I love Mike. Yeah. No, you'd be like Austin. What was it, Pillman, when Austin 316 met Pillman 9mm or whatever? Wasn't that the angle? Kathy is a lot like the loose cannon, by the way. You never know what you're going to get with her, Jim.
No comment.
Didn't tell me long enough.
I've known Kathy for too long.
914-338-1885. Yeah, so that's where we are tonight. I also wanted to mention that the Becky Lynch heel turn, supposedly a heel turn. So far, the crowd still loves her. She hasn't really done anything outwardly bad other than challenge for a title and win it in 9 seconds. I'm not seeing it, you know? I think if they pull the trigger on this, first of all, I think it's a mistake with the reactions that she's getting. Second, because they struggle to get people to get reactions sometimes. And they actually legitimately have 2 stars on one show, Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch, who both get reactions just the way they are. I don't see the point in changing either one of them right now. But beyond that, I don't know. Like, I feel like everybody else on the roster would be better suited as bad against Becky Lynch, just because that's how the fans seem to like her.
Speaking of rough,
just my thought.
Speaking of rough, did you see that Nia Jax Charlotte match last night?
Yeah. You know, I went out of my way to watch that. We can talk about that too. I went out of my way to watch that because it got such a bad reputation online for like how physical they were. I don't know, like people are calling it a shoot and stuff like that. I think, and I've never been in the ring, so you guys correct me if you think I'm totally off base here. I thought Nia hit her with a really stiff shot earlier in the match that knocked her a little bit loopy. I thought she was probably concussed, and she just looked out of it for most of that match. And I really think that, and the fact that they probably told them to really lay it in, that was my impression of the match. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean it was just a snug match. I mean if they were shooting on each other, I mean you would definitely know it. I mean,
well, they were like in the beginning, like they were going for suplex. She went for a suplex and like Nia Bly, and I was like, yeah, well, I don't know. That kind of stuff happens all the time.
Yes, yeah. Some wrestlers just like it that way. Just like it to work snug. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
it suits Nia better
than the one shot that Charlotte took into the ropes, where her head kind of bobbled around a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
She may have given Nia a receipt after that, but after that receipt, that possible receipt, it was like you said, snug, and I'd like to see more people work snug.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. I mean, it was really telling. It was really telling that I think people that don't normally necessarily watch the matches from beginning to end to see what happens, I think a lot of people paid attention to that match just because of the reputation that it had. And a lot of people really enjoyed it, you know, just because it was kind of a change of pace. If that were Nia Jax every week, I think she probably would be one of the top stars in the company.
No, the problem with that is that Nia has a reputation and
yes,
somewhat proven that she's hurt people. And so if she can work snug without hurting people, yeah, great. But I tell you what, I'm surprised that if she has hurt as many people as she has hurt or supposedly has hurt, I'm surprised she hasn't been receded by now. Somebody didn't, Matsudo her.
Right.
For as many people as she supposedly hurt, I mean, she is the female Mr. Kennedy at this point.
He hurt a lot of people? I don't remember that.
I don't want to, but yeah.
That's how he got fired, wasn't it? Like a bunch of people went up to, I forgot about that.
If you'll remember the final straw, Vince had been approached, and the next match, he basically tried to decapitate Randy Orton, and then that was the end of it.
Okay. I don't remember that, but I take your word for it. Yeah, I mean, who's going to stiff Nia back? Other than Shayna Baszler or Ronda Rousey, I don't see anybody.
Oh, I think Charlotte could step up and do it.
Well, she's as tall as her, for sure. She just, I thought it looked like she got knocked loopy, and she just wasn't fully in that match at any point. It didn't feel like to me.
They were professional enough to carry on with the match. I mean, stuff like that happens. I mean, even to the best of us, though. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm curious what you guys think. Again, 914-338-1885 is the number to call in. What I want to do right now, we'll take a real quick commercial break and kind of get our ducks in a row here, and we will open the phone lines up. Again, I see we have Steve on the line, and you can join us as well. Again, 914-338-1885. It's In the Room on the VOC Nation Wrestling Network.
Hey, this is...
All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. It's In the Room on the VOC Nation Wrestling Network. Brady here. I've got Kathy, Stro, Ray, and Jim Molineaux joining us as well. And, we can take your calls. We're talking wrestling all night long. 914-338-1885. I see we got a couple callers in the queue. Going to get to you guys real soon. Steve, you're up next. So please hang tight, because Steve is actually a really good caller. So we're going to talk with Steve very soon. Before we jump back in, though, Stro, what do you got going on this week, man?
Oh, goodness gracious. First of all, Thursday night, WCW Retro, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on VOCNation.com. The topic of discussion will be giants, monsters, and beasts of pro wrestling. So please tune in.
I dated those in college, so yeah.
I would love to see your alma mater. I would love to see it. Really.
Oh, it was amazing. It was like X-Men, you know?
That's awesome. Friday night, my horror sci-fi show, The Stro Zone, at midnight Eastern Standard Time at facebook.com/Stro Maestro. The feature for Friday night will be Terror in the Midnight Sun. So please tune in.
Nice. Okay. Very
what about
cool.
Under the Tucson
Jim,
Sun?
Where it's actually hotter. It's like 130 degrees, right?
More or less. 2 cents is a little cooler.
Pretty much.
2 cents is a
Okay,
little
all right.
cooler. Now, I live in the valley, so yeah, it's 180 million degrees every day.
Oh my God. That's where the Undertaker's from. Oh no, that's Death Valley. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's Death Valley.
Yeah, my bad. My bad. Jim, I know we have ECWA coming up in a couple weeks. You got anything that you wanted to plug?
Oh, I've got that, and the date on that is the 16th. Is that right?
I believe
Saturday,
so. 18th, 16th, 18th.
whatever that Saturday is. I'm sorry, I
yeah.
don't have my calendar in front of me.
I'm looking now.
And October the 30th,
18th.
I'll be in Glassboro, New Jersey, with dog wrestling. I'm not. I am not refereeing there, but I am the head of their matchmaking committee.
Okay.
I'm there. I've been told I'm their Frank Dusick.
Nice.
nice. All right.
So yeah, I'll be there for that, and back again in November with ECWA, and I think that might be it for the rest of the year for me. I mean, there might be a couple things popping up in between.
Yeah. It's the shows are still coming, but it's not like it used to be, not yet anyway. So, but things are slowly starting to come back. So
well, it's new for me back in the ring, and honestly, between like fan fests and virtual signings and things like that, I've done like 12 things in less than a year, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I expected to only do like one thing a month when I got back into the ring and being in front of people again. So I'm right on schedule for what I was going to do.
Well, that was the agreement that I had with my girlfriend, because I was doing a bunch of companies, and then, we just agreed that I would just kind of pick 1 or 2 a month and just make it that my thing, and not be an every weekend kind of guy. And by and large, I'm happy with that decision. Sometimes I feel like I'm missing out, but ECWA has been great. I absolutely love being a part of it. And
yeah, they've been great to me.
Yeah,
they welcome me in. They're the ones who opened the door for me to come back, and I'm real loyal to them for it.
And you're coming up on a year back already.
Yeah, just about.
Because it was September, right?
No. I was there. May. Was that the Super 8? Was that May?
Yeah. April or May, yeah.
April.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing
May, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's only been since May.
Is that it? Really?
Yeah.
I thought you came back in September. Okay.
No, I sold my company, OTW, and sold the ring to the guys at ECWA I sold the ring in February. And that was when they asked me to if I was interested in reffing again. And I said, yeah, first time in 7 years I'd stepped in the ring to referee, and survived. and didn't seem to forget too much. So yeah, it's been since only then. But yeah, it's been a blast being back in front of people.
It feels like forever already. Yeah, no, that's great though. It's been really exciting to have you back for sure. So again, guys, 914-338-1885. We're actually going to go to Steve, who I always like talking to Steve. I like talking to all of them, let's be honest. I like Steve a lot. And Steve is a huge AEW fan, so I'm sure he'll have something to say about some of the tag teams in AEW. What's going on, Steve? How you doing, brother?
Just wandering in hopeless night.
Hopeless night.
Jim Molineaux on.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're not working with the homeless, are you?
To start off with a door.
Yeah, are you clothing the nude? You're not clothing the nude, are you?
You feed the nude.
No, I get mistaken. I probably could get mistaken for homeless, but I'm in a pretty nice
Welcome
area,
to the club.
But no,
so you're in the business too.
I like to put.
Yeah. He might as well be.
Slowly trying to get in. There's local shows that are pretty fun to go to, but I did want to ask Jim. Stro mentioned it about Nia Jax Charlotte. Jim, did you ever have a match like that where the wrestlers kind of went off the rail and started, being unpredictable and getting violent toward each other, like without you knowing?
Actually, it's kind of a funny story. because in the long run, they had to get back to being professional and finishing the match the way they were supposed to. It was an independent show. I don't know if Kathy, if you were there or not. It was post ECW days, and it was an independent show at the ballpark in Atlantic City. Ring a bell?
You know what? Kathy's actually gone.
Oh, okay.
She left early.
Okay, so anyway, there was an independent show in Atlantic City that nobody got paid for. The guy disappeared before the promoter disappeared before the show ended. But one of the matches on it was Dave Taylor and Buff Bagwell. Ooh. And Bagwell was supposed to go over in the match and with his finish. So they lock up and release and lock up again. And now they locked up a little bit tighter. And Dave Taylor backed him into the ropes and gave him a European uppercut. And I shook it off. And Bagwell was like, wow. They locked up again. He backed him up again and gave him an even tighter one. And just let him have it. And he says and Bagwell's like, whoa, brother. And he says to Bagwell, you're messed up tonight. I don't know if I can curse, so I'll just say messed up. You're messed up tonight, aren't you? And he's like, no, brother, I'm not. And Dave Taylor beat the living crap out of him for 10 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah.
and got him in position so that Bagwell could hit his finisher and go over in the match. and I just let them go. I wasn't going to get in the way, but I knew that they would, at least I thought Dave would be at least professional enough. I thought Bagwell was just trying to get out of there. He would have been willing to take the fall just to get out of there. That's how brutal it was. But it was funny. The Road Warriors run in the locker room for the promoter, and I raised Bagwell's hand. I got out of the ring, and Bagwell got out of there pretty quick too, and passed me on the way to the dugout. And Animal said, "What was that all about?" I said, "I'm not sure, but you better keep them apart from each other." In the locker room. But that's really the only time I can really think of. I think everything was usually pretty well, handled.
I am surprised to hear. I'm surprised to hear you say that, Jim, because I can remember being at matches where I've seen New Jack get out of control like that.
Oh yeah, but going into the match, you expected something like that.
Okay, well that's true. Yeah.
And surprising, this is how good New Jack was. As out of control as it looked, everyone knew exactly what was going on.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, at least in ECW, any other independents or anything like that, I really can't speak of, except for the one incident in ECW. But from an ECW point of view, I think pretty much everybody knew what they were getting into, and it was pretty well controlled.
Okay. There you have it. What were you saying, Steve?
I'm such a big William Regal fan. I'm kicking myself I didn't go meet Dave Taylor in 2015 when I was in North Carolina. I would have loved to hear some Blue Blood stories about Bobby Eaton and Regal. But I did want to ask Jim, was there a favorite Legends appearance in ECW? I think Jerry Lawler comes to mind. I know Terry Funk was obviously a legend at that point, but just those legend cameos like a Jake Roberts or Jerry Lawler.
For me, and I may have a different point of view than a standard fan where you would pick a Jake Roberts. For me, it was Bobby Eaton. Just in awe of Bobby Eaton. Amazing worker. And just to be there and be that close to watch him and try to, figure things out that he does and how he does little things that made him that much, better, that tweak that he puts into things. Working on a regular basis, again, I'm a big tag team fan. Working with Tommy Rogers was great. I loved working with him.
That's cool. That is definitely cool. And you know what they say, like the ones who are really good, they're so good at it that the fans might not even realize how good they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I think that's definitely the case. I've heard that many times about Bobby Eaton. And Tommy Rich was another one I used to hear that about a lot. You know, just so good at like just so many different things. Did you have any more questions, Steve? We were talking about AEW, if not, and I definitely want to get your thoughts on it.
About what, the tag team?
Yeah, the tag teams in AEW. I mean, there are other tag teams besides the Young Bucks, believe it or not.
I like the Lucha Brothers, and I like Luchasaurus. I think Luchasaurus, he reminds me of Kane, because Kane can do comedy and be serious too. So I really like Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, and Lucha Brothers I think are a great tag team. I enjoy their tag teams in general. FTR is a good team, so but I really like the new attitude of Young Bucks. But
they are cool coming down to the ring now. I do laugh at them now.
I loved when, I don't know who it was, but one of them tripped during a match, and it was just so funny. Like, like it's hard sometimes. It comes off forced, like in comedy, like, but it reminded me. It seemed like a heel Chevy Chase move to just trip during a match. But,
I got a good question. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
I wish Derek was on, because I would have asked him about the boxing match this past weekend, Tyron Woodley, Jake Paul, but I didn't know what you were going to ask, Brady.
I mean, I'm assuming Derek will be on in a little bit, but I'm not sure. You know, like we're talking about these great tag teams, and there certainly have been some good ones over the years, but is there anybody anywhere that you guys would kind of consider like on the same playing field as, well, okay, I mean, obviously, like the Road Warriors are class in themselves, the Steiners. There's a lot of really great tag teams over the years, the Dudleys. But is there anybody that could kind of be in that class now? I'm thinking the Revival could, but they have a lot of work to do in terms of like actually putting body of work out there. But I think the potential's there.
I mean, that might be
really.
It might be a polarizing answer, but I mean, they've worked with, you know, Hardy Boys. I'm sure they've worked in rock and roll at some point. Rock and Roll kind of did like a shirt with Young Bucks like collaboration. I think they've earned their popularity. Mm-hmm. But I think Lucha Brothers could be. Not on a Dudley Boys or Road Warriors level, but I think Lucha Brothers could be a hot tag team in AEW. But I guess on legacy, I guess FTR and Young Bucks. Like if we're talking AEW.
If you're talking WWE, I think you could put the Usos as close, but I don't think they're there yet.
Yeah.
And really just close because of their longevity more than anything. I don't know what you guys think about that, but that's kind of where I put them at this point. I think they're probably the top tag team in WWE.
Well, they're the only tag team that's been intact for the last 2 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, besides New Day,
Yeah. Everything else has been makeshift. You know, let's throw this at the wall and see if they stick together.
I mean, I'm trying to remember, like, I for a while there, I would have said the Street Profits had a lot of potential. They've been going for a couple years, but they just don't do anything. You know, at some point, whoever was behind them, probably Paul Heyman, I'm guessing,
I really
lost their say.
I really wish they didn't release Bobby Fish, because I think Red Dragon would have been a great tag team in NXT and WWE in general.
Yeah. I got to reach out to Bobby. We've had him on here many times before he got signed. I'm sure he would love to come back. That'd be a fun interview.
I think was a case of bad luck with his injuries. But
I think that and his age. I think his age too. Like because they're.
I think he's
yeah.
I think he's just super underrated.
It seems so weird to me because like they're talking about getting rid of older guys, and then you have Samoa Joe win the NXT title in the same breath.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you bring
weird.
John Cena back.
And you bring John Cena back. But like Cena, I can understand. You know, that's a dream match against Roman Reigns. Samoa Joe went from a commentator on their main roster to the champion of their developmental. And the guy is my age. And that shouldn't be lost on anybody. The guy is my age.
Hopefully he'll lose it to a up and coming star or one of their current stars. But I have an NXT question. Is Walter one of the best wrestlers in WWE history? It's just like, I know it's like he's so current and he's got more progress to go, but it's just Walter cannot have a bad match. And those Ilya matches are classics.
Oh, I think they're great. And they were probably a highlight. I don't know if you guys had the chance to check out that NXT TakeOver match between Walter and Ilya. Like, hard hitting and, like, just absolutely intense. It reminded me of, like, trying to think, like, maybe like Benoit and Angle back in the day. That's what it reminded me. It was hitting like that, you know?
I mean, I know there was a pandemic going on, but he's like the Bruno Sammartino of that UK brand.
Well, you had the title for what, like 800 days or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, listen, I think he's great. I think what's going to prevent him from being among the greatest is the fact that he's willing to just stay in Europe and do his thing. He doesn't really want to come over and be on the main roster, it doesn't seem like.
I think he would have fit in with that all Japan 90s era with Stan
Oh,
Hansen.
yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I wish he could work Japan if he wasn't signed right now, yeah.
Jim, do you ever think about that? Like if ECW were still around today, the kind of stars that either would have cut their teeth there or that would be there now, like some of these NXT AEW guys, I would imagine Ring of Honor, they probably would be ECW guys, and I'd imagine it would be almost unrecognizable from what it was 20 years ago.
Oh, sure. I mean, the company would have to change because wrestling itself has changed in 20 years.
Yeah.
Walter, I can't imagine what Paul would be able to write for him. It would be amazing for Paul to have his hands on him and push him to, you know, whatever level he would. You asked earlier, can Walter have a bad match? Yes, he can when he moves up the Raw. When they get a hold of him there, they're going to kill him.
When he's losing to Jeff Hardy in 30 seconds.
Right. But yeah, no, I think that's what's missing for wrestling today is companies that can be developmentals for feeding to even NXT. NXT is a developmental, but I mean they're all doing the same thing. They're all being trained the same way, and I think that's what's killing the product in the long run. Everybody's the same slice of pie. Nobody's different. Where when they would hire people coming in, you know, I mean, look at what WWE was when Vince was building it, and look at all the different talents that he used to build the company that were absolutely not the same type of product. Where everyone was a different style of wrestling. And they tried people that didn't work. I mean, as great as the Freebirds are, they didn't fit in to what they were looking for. But a talent like Ted DiBiase, who's different from the Junkyard Dog, to Billy Jack Hayes didn't fit in, but he was a great talent. So and they were all different styles, and I think that's what's missing from the television product that we see. Everybody's really kind of cookie cutter now.
I agree. I do agree with that. Yeah.
And even in promotions that are a little bit better about it, like I can tell you without sitting down and watching a match, if you just showed me a roster of some promotion Some promotion that I don't see a lot of. I'm going to tell you right now, there's edgy dark guy that doesn't do a lot of wrestling moves, but just sort of hits people. There's strong technical wrestler that looks like Chris Masters. There's little guy that jumps off a bunch of stuff. Even that's just true in AEW and a lot of the NWA promotions. I mean, I can't speak universally because I can't, but a lot you see that the same way. It's even true in a lot of the Mexican and Japan promotions now.
Yeah. Jim, it got so bad. I'm going to bring on Derek, by the way. It got so bad that I was at an independent show probably 10 years ago where 5 or 6 of the guys used Cult of Personality as their theme song, and 7 or 8 of them used the super kick as their finisher. I love it,
and that's that's the fault of the promoter. That's not the fault of the wrestlers. Yeah. That's the fault of the promoter or the booker or whoever's in charge. Someone who's afraid to say no. I'll just use myself as an example with OTW when we were running it.
Yeah.
My top heel had a certain move, and we would say, can't use that. Nobody can use that. That's his finisher. That's it. And you couldn't use, Kashmir because that was his entrance music. So we made sure that certain things were done. Just another quick example. I did a tour of Alaska right after ECW finished up. Steven D'Angelo's put together a couple of shows and brought in a match that was 6 luchadors, or I shouldn't say they were luchadors, but 6 young kids from California to be the opening match. And they were bam, 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 bam. And they did every single person's finish that was left, that was on the card, and no-sold each one.
Oh no!
So it wasn't their finish. None of them was the finish of the match, and they were met by a wall of the boys when they came through the curtain that first night. And I'll tell you what, the second night that match was very different.
I'm sure it was.
One of them said, one of the guys said to them, oh, you just no-sold my finish. So what am I going to do for my match now? And they didn't understand the concept. Yeah,
that's crazy. That is really crazy. So we have Derek McDonald with us. Derek, you're hearing a different voice. So Matt Grimm has taken some time away because of his kid and because of commitments at work. But we found an incredible replacement. He's going to be on and off with us for a little while. We have former ECW referee Jim Molineaux joining the program. And it's been an amazing perspective.
I got a question for Derek if he doesn't have anything.
I forgot about the question. I forgot about the question.
No, I'm here.
Sorry.
Hey, Derek.
Yeah.
Did you see the Jake Paul Tyron Woodley fight this past weekend on Showtime?
I did see that.
Do you think Woodley won, or do you think Paul legit won? Because it seemed like, from looking at the stats, that
was it a work?
When I saw on the graphics that Paul won, but maybe Tyrone held back. Do you think Tyrone was passive?
Yes, because there was that one shot where he hit him with the right, and he fell into the ropes, and I'm thinking, oh, that's it. And then he kind of pulls up and he eases up off of him. And I thought to myself, the fix is in. I hate to think everything's, fake or work, as they say in wrestling, but that looked like it was, it looked like it was on the up and up because he had him hurt and then he backed up off of him.
They got some pro wrestling build-up with that tattoo stipulation he gave him.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, which is weird. I would never agree to get another, I love another man tattooed on my body.
Yeah, I love Jake Paul. Yeah.
That's weird.
Is it Jake Paul or Paul Jake? I know I sound like my dad when I ask that.
Jake Paul.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Paul Jake.
I don't know. Isn't it Logan Paul or Paul Logan or something? Isn't that it?
Logan Paul's brother.
Okay.
Logan's brother.
I don't. Okay. I got you. He's the guy that did the thing with Sammy on WrestleMania or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. And you wouldn't let Sammy in to watch him train.
Yeah, and poor Sam. Yes, or Sammy got in and then he walked out for a minute and they
Yeah, he's a bad guy. I don't like him. And then he broke up the Miz and Morrison.
There you go.
I think Morrison should have broke up with them a long time ago. Morrison's better than the Miz, and I'll fight anybody.
No.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of in-ring and stuff, yeah.
Oh, in-ring, yeah. Yeah, he is. And the Miz, honestly, Jim, you talk about never evolving. The Miz has been doing the same thing for 15 years now.
Yeah, but somehow it works. Because he's really that annoying.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the problem with letting Morrison get away from him is now I can hear it. You know, I'm sorry, we don't have anything for you. A creative can't come up with something for someone that's talented like Morrison, and I see that happening down the road.
Yeah, how do you follow up? So they have that big split, and like obviously that's the match that everyone wants to see after that attack. How do you follow that up with him just getting destroyed by Omos? Who I mean, and nothing against Omos, but like, my God, like he's like the second coming of the great Khali.
And what they should have done was, you know, when Omos got out of the ring, Miz should have handed him a few bucks, you know, to build the storyline. But they don't even think of that.
Yes.
Well,
I'd be on board with that.
I missed it. You know, I missed the show last week, so you guys might have touched on this. It's very timely with CM Punk getting ready to get back in the ring. Did you mention Roman Reigns in the needle moving comment and how upset everybody got when Roman said that about CM Punk?
I think we touched on it, but I mean, I didn't
it was
really.
Brief.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, he's just like in piss everybody off mode, and I think it's great. He was even like taking shots at Jon Moxley, like. Yeah.
That's the Paul Heyman. I think that's the Paul Heyman, you know, whispering in his ear.
I think so. Same thing as like the missionary thing, like the missionary. It's the same thing. Every single, it's amazing. He's
Yeah.
I was saying earlier, and I know people are kind of mixed on it. I don't think the WWE should turn Becky Lynch, and I don't think it's too late because she really hasn't done anything yet, other than deny Bianca Belair a match, which, like, honestly, that's something that the man would have done anyway, probably. So, like, it's not a big deal. But when you've got two characters that are resonating so much with the fans, like Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch, I wouldn't change a damn thing with either one of them. I wouldn't. No. I would leave it alone.
Oh, I wouldn't either. And I think if they try, it's going to be hysterical to me if they try to turn her, because look, very rarely do we get to sit on this show and talk about a mistake that WWE is making in real time. We get to come out here and talk about mistakes we see them make with roster moves and on shows all the time, but very rarely do we actually get to talk about the mistake as it happens. The best part, if they really try to turn,
that's because they don't run against us anymore.
That's true. The best part,
NXT, I guess, but
if they try to turn Becky Lynch, the best part is going to be that they already tried to turn her heel and it went horribly, and they had to just give up and make her a face.
Right.
Here's the thing: if you're going to turn her, you have to have somebody that the people care about. See, the reason Brett worked is because everybody loved Steve Austin. So it was kind of like, you know, we love Austin, and they were starting to turn on Brett anyway, so it worked. So if they're going to turn her, they need somebody who can be that number one face while she's turning heel. And I don't know.
Right.
I mean, it could have been Bianca.
It could have been.
Bianca, and you beat her in 10 seconds, and they ruined that by doing that. I mean, maybe it could be Liv Morgan, but she doesn't get enough TV time. So it's like I don't.
It's got to be Sasha then if she turns back heel.
In my opinion,
Sasha, but you just turned her heel.
Yeah, I don't think it can be Sasha at this point. She's just too grating on people. I just think she's better as a heel, and Bayley's out. She's better as a heel. But here's my thing: like, what they could have done is they could have had Becky Lynch come out at SummerSlam, and she could have challenged Bianca, done exactly what she did, and they could have had a 20-minute match. And I think it would have been one of the best matches of the night. And at the end of it, when it was clear that Bianca was better and going to win, if you wanted to turn Becky, that's when you have her just clobber her with a chair and leave, frustrated. Just end it that way.
Yeah.
You've cemented, and you'll have created that, because Bianca will have just gone 20 minutes with the man and proven that she can beat her. And I think the crowd already likes Bianca enough. She kind of took over that role when Becky left in a lot of different ways. So I think the fans would have bought in, but by having her lose like that, maybe I'm being short-sighted. Maybe there's like a bigger plan in play here, but Jim, you're shaking your head. No, I don't see a bigger plan. I think it was just short-sighted and could have been executed a whole lot better.
Yeah, I think that if they wanted a positive reaction for Bianca Belair, they wouldn't have done what they've done. And now the fans were like, they were like, oh, gee, we thought she was better than that. You just, know, the air is out of the balloon, and now it seems like the fans really don't care. The person that they cheered for got squashed in 2 seconds, and they're like, oh, there goes our hero. So now we move on to the next one.
And you know the nature of like fans and how that, when Becky Lynch wins that match in 9 seconds, of course people are going to be reacting. People that maybe wouldn't have cheered for Becky in that situation cheered for her because, she just did that in however long. I said 9 seconds. It might have been like, I don't remember what the exact number was, but she beat her really quickly. And the fans, of course, are going to get behind that, just because that's a momentum thing. That's like you condition fans to like respond when something quickly happens like that. So of course they're going to get behind her. But it could have been Bianca, if that's what you wanted. You didn't need to take fans away from Bianca to then take the fans away from Becky. What do you just want? No fans for any of them? Is that the goal? I don't understand what the goal was. I don't know. It's frustrating, Derek.
I mean, and then you have Naomi, who they book her terribly. But every time there's a big show and she's on the big show, she gets a loud reaction. You bring her out there, and the first thing they tell her is, "Well, you've done nothing to prove you deserve to be a top star of SmackDown." Why the hell, as a fan, will I care about Naomi either? If you're gonna
run everybody down.
Nothing to prove. Yeah, it's like, well, what the hell's the point then? And
it's like
Roman, he comes out there. I can see that. I can see there's one or two end games with Roman. It's either you build a Big E up and he cashes in on Roman and he can be your next big face, or you do Roman and Rock at WrestleMania and you have him beat The Rock, and there's an end game to this Roman thing. Right now with Becky, there's nobody that they've built to even look like they belong in the ring with her. And given their track record, I can't see how they're going to build anybody up to make it that way. No.
And it's going to hurt Becky in the long term because she's not going to have anybody that can go toe-to-toe with her that fans are going to keep interest.
That is true. And Derek mentioned one of the two that you look at and you go, wow, you really wish that they could not screw that up. One is Naomi. Whether or not she necessarily has the technical chops, but she's not unsafe, she's not unentertaining, and the fans like her. And then the other one is Liv Morgan. Derek's right. The number one reason nobody cares about Liv Morgan is because Liv Morgan is never on your television. Despite the fact that they have, we worked it out before, they have 15, 16 hours of programming a week or some other absurd number like that. And you can't find room. You can't find room to build up a very attractive blonde woman and a very attractive black woman. And you can't find time to put either of them on your TV and make them care. Come on, man.
And Zelina Vega can't get a win to save her life.
Yeah. She's going 50-50 with Carmella every week, though. Win, lose, win, lose.
Oh, that's
You know?
great. God, that's great. That's just excellent.
Yeah.
It just
and
just
I like Carmella,
just like sports. You know, I love rooting for a team that only wins half the time.
Right. It really makes it exciting.
Oh,
you're a Flyers fan.
I was say
I am a Flyers fan.
I was say what you're a.
Me too.
You're a Tennessee Titans fan?
No, even worse. I'm a Raiders fan.
Ooh,
Raiders.
so you like rooting for teams that win less than half the time?
Well, when I first started rooting for the Raiders,
you love Malcolm.
They were showing up half shot in the ass before the game even started, and winning.
That's true. Look, I'm in a similar boat. I when I first started watching football, the Buffalo Bills were just the talk of the town, and
that's right. I forgot you like the Bills.
If somebody just speaking of Buffalo real quick, somebody tweeted the other day because the Arizona the Arizona Coyotes are losing their building. And they were looking for a town to go to, and I tweeted, "Wow, they should go to Buffalo because they haven't had a hockey team there for years."
That's funny. That's funny.
No, I mean, but like they don't. And this is the same thing we've talked about time and time again. Is that you can't have parity booking and then one person who always wins, because then I don't care who person that always wins is fighting, since I already know the outcome before the match happens.
Yeah, I mean, again, where they struggle, and you're kind of seeing it with Roman a little bit. Everybody that would emerge to challenge him is somebody that has lost half their matches. Except for The Rock. And honestly, I don't think The Rock's going to beat Roman. So, Derek, you talk about an end game. Roman will be even bigger because he beat The Rock, but I don't necessarily see the end game for Roman at any point. Not unless you can bring in some sort of a monster and turn him good again at some point. I just don't see how it ends. But by the same token, it's been so good that I don't care about it ending.
Yeah, that's the good thing. You're kind of like, oh man, I can't wait for somebody to beat Roman because he's enjoying it. And like I said, if this was Vince McMahon years ago, common sense would tell us, well, Big E's a big charismatic guy. They're going to build him up. But then you turn on it, and I love Happy Corbin. I think Happy Corbin is hilarious. I like
down on his luck Corbin better.
Big
He's amazing.
It was funny when he tried to buy his case from Big E, and Big E was like, you know what? You'll cash it in and you'll lose. I like you happy. I'll keep it. Don't worry about it. I'll hold on to it.
What was Matt saying with Corbin? He said he looked like the Buena Vista Social Club. That was it. Sorry.
But no, like you said, I don't know what the end game is, and it's working for now. But if we're 6 months from now and there's still no end game, it get boring.
I think Finn Balor could be built up again and be that guy that knocked Roman off.
Really?
Months later, yeah.
Yeah, but he's going to be fighting him this month.
I think. Oh, I'm sorry.
He's fighting him on Friday. I think he's fighting him Friday.
Friday and then Extreme Rules.
That's good.
Well, I meant if he wasn't facing him now, I think he could be built up again.
The only thing I can think, because if you look at it, Roman has already beaten, Bray and Braun and Daniel Bryan and Edge and his cousin Jay and Cena. And I'm sure there have been others, but like Cesaro and whoever. Roman Reigns has beaten everybody that they've thrown at him. They really need the draft. Because I don't see Big E.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Big E being the one to take that step against Roman. I see Big E challenging Lashley. I could see that. I could see Big E being the one to finally beat Lashley. I could totally see that. But I don't see Roman losing to Big E. I really don't. I think they're going to have to do something in that draft.
About Brock. He just
beating back. Roman?
I mean, he's beaten Roman several times before. He's beaten Undertaker. I mean, it's not unlikely that it could happen.
Yeah.
I guess.
You need a full-timer.
Yeah, but Jim's right. You need a full-timer.
Yeah. I've got someone in mind.
It'd be two guys on Raw.
You might have the same guy as I do.
Two guys on Raw who train together. One is Riddle. I think if Riddle was put in a position where he could do something outside of just being a comedy guy, he would work. But after what
Riddle's amazing.
After what I saw on Monday, I think Damian Priest would be the perfect guy to beat Roman if they built him up the right way.
I could see that.
That was where I was going to go. I was going to go keep building Damian Priest to just before he has the opportunity to go for the Universal Championship on Raw, goes over to SmackDown, boom, he's right in the race against Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and I could see that. I totally could see that. You have him dominate the mid-card. Don't do the parody stuff. Dominate the mid-card, and then you switch him over. Has the ship sailed on Drew McIntyre, though?
Yes.
Yes. They
officially,
they have to rebuild it. They have to rebuild it.
It's a shame.
They have to move to SmackDown and get a year in.
Yeah, but how are you going to get a year in? I mean, I guess he could beat all the guys that Roman beat, but, it'll look silly if he doesn't go out there and challenge Roman, and you don't want to throw him at Roman right now. It's so funny because last year this time, they did Drew versus Roman at Survivor Series, the two champions, and I said that was dumb. I said that was the WrestleMania match. At the time, it felt like it. Now it feels like it couldn't be like a Friday Night SmackDown main event anymore.
I mean, the biggest guy really that you could put in there with Roman is the champion on the other show, and that's Lashley. And you'd have to beat Lashley to get him over there to Roman. So they booked themselves into a corner.
And I think Lashley's in the same situation as Roman. I don't see anybody on the Raw roster that's worthy of beating Lashley right now.
No. One of the listeners actually just messaged me, Adam Cole Bebe. We don't even know if Adam's going to be in WWE at this point. The rumor a couple weeks ago was he had signed the contract. Apparently, he's a free agent. So, I mean, first of all, you can't go by wrestling media because the same people that insisted he signed the contract 2 weeks ago when he vet Vince McMahon and it was $1.5 million and blah, blah, blah. Apparently, he's a free agent. So I don't know what to believe.
AEW is teasing him heavily.
AEW about Adam Cole. They've been teasing, the elite guys have been teasing him. But then you go on Adam Cole's social media and he's posting stuff with him and Nakamura. And he's going back and forth with Pat McAfee. And if you watch SmackDown, McAfee rocks out to Nakamura when he comes out. So that could be a made feud for the IC title. It's a lot going on with Adam Cole. And I think we said on this show before, if he goes to AEW, their roster, especially at the mid card and the top, is starting to get crowded. Daniel Bryan's coming in. Punk is in. They're saying they're getting Bray Wyatt. All these guys are coming in. Adam Cole, he kind of gets lost in that shuffle there if he comes in with all these other guys. I think if he went to SmackDown and he feuded with McAfee and Nakamura and he becomes IC champion, it would kind of give him some space, and then he could work with a Kevin Owens or a Sami Zayn. But it's up to him. They say Vince McMahon likes him.
I want Adam Cole to come in and be a main event guy. I don't want to see him playing around with the mid card titles anymore. The kid is great. I mean, he is really good, and I know he's on the shorter side, but I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but I get Shawn Michaels type vibes from the kid. I think he's amazing, and Jim, as you know, I mean, he's been around forever in this area. Right. I mean, everybody. Such a nice kid, so humble in real life, and just a consummate professional. I think he is exactly what WWE could use, and I'd like to see him. I would rather see him in the main event of Raw than fighting Hangman Adam Page or joining some gang in AEW.
Yeah, I think he would get buried in AEW. As much as his buddies and friends are over there, he's going to meet the wall of vice presidents in charge of programming who don't want to give up their belts or their positions or their prestige, whether it's a tag team or whether it's a champion or whether it's a heavyweight champion. He'll come in and put on one nice match, and next week he'll be, wrestling the Hardy family or whoever, and you won't, or he'll be on one of their YouTube shows. You won't see him for a month.
I know.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it with Daniel Bryan in AEW. I think a Cole Bryan match, that'd be pretty big.
I could see that.
But that's the thing. Who do you beat? Cole's gonna have to get beat because Bryan's the bigger star. Like
I would have Cole win.
Done
at some point.
And I remember a year ago. I was so excited for Scorpio Sky, and I was like, oh, he's gonna be the guy. They're gonna build him up. They're gonna build Page up. I was so excited for those two guys. And here I am a year later, and I'm talking about, Omega's the world champion. Poor TNA. They don't even get their heat back because Omega loses the TNA title to another AEW guy. But it's
not even on their product.
Black is up there. Exactly, and I don't know. I guess Impact just loves being mentioned with AEW, but they've got nothing out of this relationship. But
I want to know how many people.
Well, they got Christian.
And Kazarian.
Oh boy!
I want to know. I want to know how many people had tuned in to Impact the following week after Christian won the AEW title or won their title in AEW. I did. How many people who watch AEW, those hardcore AEW fans, even know where to find Impact on television?
They don't know where to find it, and they don't want to know where to find it. I've been saying this for months now. All of this makes sense if you accept the premise that TNA wants to be bought up by AEW and be a subsidiary show. That's the only way any of this makes a lick of sense.
They want to be AEW's developmental.
Yes. And you know what? Honestly,
that's good.
Go ahead.
Justin.
Well, I was going to say, honestly, Derek and I claim victory on the TNA Death Clock because it is clearly no longer alive at this point.
They're still alive.
No, they're not.
They're
not.
Still alive. I watch them every week.
Brady, they
2
are
hours. Swinger's Palace.
Brady and Derek and I claim victory on the TNA Death Clock, even though it's disputed. It's disputed, but we claim victory. It makes no sense that TNA knows that like they are a dead promotion, because if you think about it, if one of us just hit, they're dead, Brady. They're dead.
They're owned by a big company, Anthem.
They're like no one cares. They're never going to grow, because the thing is, like, that name is toxic. The actual name of TNA is toxic.
That's why they use Impact.
Jesus Christ.
Here's how you know they're dead. How do you, as a fan, how do you get tickets for their show, for their events? They hand them out to you as you leave from the previous event. It has to be. It has to be. They don't advertise. Hey, we're gonna, they're gonna be in Nashville. Okay, we're gonna be in Nashville on the 10th. Come and see the show, even if it's free. Come and see the show. They don't even let you know when the show is.
Well, I think it's so weird. Like, it's so weird to me.
I got a question for Brady.
Just 1 second, Steve. I just think it's so weird to me that, like, I feel like other than WWE, there's almost no brand identity with companies anymore. I mean, you got who's appearing in AEW on Impact, in New Japan, in Ring of Honor. There's so much NWA. There's so much crossover right now between like 5 or 6 different companies that like I couldn't tell you what company Chelsea Green is in right now. She's in Impact. She's in Ring of Honor. I expect she'll probably do something with AEW in the next couple weeks, just because everybody seems to be sharing everybody. She's in the NWA. I don't see any, like, it's hard to say, to me, a company is dead when they're all sharing the talent. And I know AEW is not sharing like other people, but they're all sharing.
I'm gonna say the only top talent that Jump shows was Omega going to Impact. That was it. I mean, the whole time, at one point I thought, okay, they're gonna build up Moose as the guy to beat Kenny Omega, and he's gonna show up on a random AEW show, and he's gonna attack Kenny Omega, and that'll get some eyes on the TNA product.
Nope.
And now Moose is just a guy. He's just a guy now.
Yeah, and their champion is Christian.
I thought they did a great job with Rich Swann when he was champion, and making him look like he was somewhere near main event talent. And the minute they did this Forbidden Door thing, he's just a guy now.
Yeah.
The only people from Impact who are benefiting from this Forbidden Door thing are the Good Brothers, and that's because they stand behind Kenny Omega on AEW.
Steve, what was your question?
Which of the companies are going to grow faster, Ring of Honor, NWA, or Impact? Because we're talking about Impact being dead, but is Ring of Honor and NWA in the same situation, or are they going to grow back? Because NWA just got some coverage lately.
See, my heart goes to NWA. It does. Well, it's so tough. ROH. Yeah, ROH is... by the way, Jim, I watch Ring of Honor, and I got to tell you, one of the guys that kind of trained under you, you know what I'm going to say. Yeah. He really is number one. I love the guy, and I met him years ago, kind of coming out of your promotion and everything. But Brian Johnson, his work has just been like next level. Like I am amazed. It doesn't even seem like the same kid to me, and he was great then.
Yeah.
I mean, you must be so proud to see him on TV.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that I'm really proud of. But there are other guys, believe it or not, that are with WWE that I was part of their training. Not when OTW was part of the Monster Factory, and even before, when it was when I was with just the Monster Factory. But Brian's really skyrocketed, and it's all a credit to him. I don't, we're guys who are working for WWE. You have to rely on a lot of people, a lot of hands-on with developing, the character and giving them lines. So this is all Brian off the top of his head, and it's the guy works really hard. I'm very proud of him. But back to the subject you were talking about companies. There's a company nobody's mentioned that can break out, and I think MLW might be one of the companies that has a good chance to break out. Yeah, they've just announced they've added Tajiri to their lineup, and they seem to be outdoing shows. NWA is too, but they seem to be outdoing shows in front of live crowds, and I think that means a lot to their development. And also, they have, as crappy as it may be, for a television outlet. They have a television outlet. The NWA, you have to go online to, their YouTube channel or whatever. Ring of Honor, you have to go to their Fight or YouTube if you live in an area that doesn't have Sinclair. And so I think MLW might have a bit of advantage with being on the.
They're on Vice, right?
They were on Vice for a little bit, but they're still with that.
I think they can appeal to that younger crowd too.
Yeah,
they can appeal to that millennial boomer crowd.
Yeah, and they have some talent there that's really, really good. I'm a big fan of Richard Holiday.
Talked about MLW.
Oh, me too.
They were discussing having a relationship with like WWE. And if I'm Court Bauer, I call Vince and I go, look here, Vince. I got a guy named Jacob Fatu who's different than anybody on any other show.
Jacob Fatu, yeah.
Work out a deal. I'll bring Fatu. I'll bring Hammerstone and some of these guys and let them mix in with the NXT guys. And you can get exposure from that. You can give us some of the NXT guys that you want to get better. They can come on over to us. kind of like how NXT did with Gabe when Gabe had his company.
Yep.
When he had Evolve. And I would do that. I would work same thing with ROH, because apparently ROH and MLW they aren't welcome to the Forbidden Door party with the other companies. So I'd work with Vince and I would exchange guys through that, because Jacob Fatu, he needs to be on national TV somewhere, because he's better than a lot of the guys on a lot of these shows.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Jim, who are the WWE guys that you had a hand in? I'm assuming you're talking about Riddle and Damian Priest.
Riddle was after I was after the Monster Factory and OTW went their own ways. I was with when ECW shut down. I went to the Monster Factory just to keep my hands in the business, and already there was Tank Tolan and Cliff Compton.
Tank, yes.
Cliff, who was Domino and Deuce and Domino.
Yeah.
And then a kid from Ireland showed up to train for a little while by the name of Sheamus.
Sheamus, yes.
And it's funny. It's on his Wikipedia that I trained him, but the only advice I really gave him was to go back to Ireland before his visa ran out.
Okay.
But yeah, Damian Priest was one of our guys, and QT Marshall was also.
And he was around for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, QT Marshall was part of us, and Nick Camarano was OTW after we had split from the Monster Factory, and then he decided to go over to the Monster Factory. But yeah, we had our hand in Nick Camarano too.
That's cool.
And there are plenty of guys on the indie circuit that are still out there ripping it up and doing great. Look at some of the women. There's a woman that was in the women's Super 8, Damaris. She trained at OTW. There are a lot of people I'm rooting for out there that came through.
Very
OTW.
Popular. Yeah. And a lot of those guys that you mentioned in particular, because I was affiliated with New Moon there for a couple of years when they were regularly doing shows. So like I got to deal with like the Damian Priest and the Tank Tolans and those guys. It's just so much talent there, and you can see why they're really getting noticed by the bigger companies at times. So it's a real testament to you and you guys and what you've all been doing for sure. So
I know
Sheamus has been awesome, by the way.
With the face guard.
Sheamus he has been one of the best in-ring guys they've had maybe over the last 6 months or so. Like, I don't remember the last time he's had a bad match.
Yeah, true.
Well, you know what? Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
I was going to ask about Priest. I know WWE has a lot more villains or heels right now, but do you think Priest should be villain at some point? Because I really prefer that Ring of Honor Damian Priest, Punishment Martinez, Kevin Sullivan, Damian Priest than the babyface Damian Priest. But he's obviously on a good roll right now.
Yeah, no, keep him as a face for now. Keep building him as that face that people can seem to get behind. Push the angle that he's got a Puerto Rican background. That helps too. It's always worked for a McMahon product, whether it's from Puerto Rico or from Italy, or from Poland. Bruno Sammartino, Ivan Kola, or Ivan Putski. It's part of the promotion's history, and why not use it?
And say what you will about Vince, but I think he's really good sometimes. Like when he sees the momentum is there, kind of seizing on it at times. We've seen it a number of times, but Damian Priest had that. He had that momentum in NXT, and he had that feel like things would definitely happen for him. So as soon as they move him up, what did they do? They put him with Bad Bunny. Right away, they put him with a major celebrity where the casual fan now who's tuning in to see Bad Bunny is now seeing Damian Priest, and they're getting a little bit of that kind of charisma mixed in. And, I think it's really helped to make him some fans where otherwise people might not have known who he was.
Right.
And I definitely think the momentum's there.
Priest is from New York City, Puerto Rican kid from New York City, originally from Puerto Rico, but grew up in New York. I'll tell you what, if they don't put him in the main event or the semi-main event for their first show at Madison Square Garden, because that place will go absolutely bonkers. if they give him an amazing win over someone at that show.
Imagine him beating Lashley in a non-title.
I take it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not televised. I would do it.
Like a big Pedro win.
He's right, because Carlito, I remember I used to go to Garden shows in like the mid-2000s, and SmackDown would come here with Carlito, and Carlito's also Puerto Rican. He's not from New York, but he's Puerto Rican, and he would come through that curtain, and you would think it was the second coming of John Cena, Hulk Hogan, and The Rock sometimes. Just because the crowd is filled with Puerto Ricans from the Bronx and from Brooklyn and from all over Harlem. Yeah, Boricuas everywhere. So I imagine with this show that's happening in a couple weeks at MSG, when Priest comes out, they're gonna go crazy. And he looks like a rock star. He looks like a star. I mean, just by looking at him.
This has been a great discussion tonight, guys. And you know me, I hate to derail great discussions, but we got to do it sometimes. We got to. We're going to actually go to Trenton, New Jersey, and we've got Rat Boy. It's almost milking hour. What's going on, Rat Boy?
Jesus.
Yo, brother, I gave away $400 tonight of my rat money.
You gave away $400 of your rat money from bingo. Rat Boy, you know we got
quarter number stuff.
Rat Boy, you know we got somebody very special on the line.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who?
Jim Molineaux.
Yeah?
Who? Man, I gave away $400.
He don't care. He knows all you.
That was it.
Rat Boy, Jim Molineaux's on the line, and you're talking about your made-up money. He doesn't have $400.
Monopoly money over here.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta come to bingo to win my money.
You don't got money. You're buying that funny money at the Columbus flea market.
Yeah, that rap crypto.
Listen.
Crypto.
They called me, and I called one game tonight, and I gave away $400.
You called the game?
Yeah, I called the game.
Did you throw in like funny commentary like Jesse the Body?
Oh yeah, I was doing.
I'm sure.
You got the quack here, I-22.
All right,
We
brother.
got the section number. We got 069.
I need closed captioning over here.
What's
He's never had
the
069.
066.
Rat Boy, what's on the menu tonight at 7-Eleven?
I'm not sure. I didn't get over there yet. I just got home.
Roller dog.
You just got home. Why haven't you got Rat Boy? We need to know. Are you getting the 7-Eleven pizza, the 7-Eleven corn dogs? Are you just going
good.
in? Are you just going in
Maybe
for
not
some
at midnight.
7-Eleven milk?
Listen.
Getting those roller dogs.
Oh,
The best thing at 7-Eleven right now, or going like hotcakes, is those cookies that they got there in front of the counter. The caramel cookies, the red velvet cookies, the sugar cookies, the chocolate chip cookies. They're nice and soft and they're good.
What?
You gotta try them out. They're only $1 for two.
I think you should actually switch venues and try the Sunoco on Sullivan Lane. They've got some pretty good munchies there.
They got the Drake cakes there.
They've got funny bones there.
You can't go wrong with a tasty cake.
Nobody bakes a tasty
cake. And Route 29, ain't it?
Yeah, it's right around the corner from the Insane Asylum.
All right. So, Rat Boy.
Oh, perfect.
Rat Boy.
It's funny. No.
Okay, Rat Boy, I have a serious question for you, Rat Boy.
Rat Boy, we have a serious question.
I have a serious question for you.
Rat Boy, serious question. Serious question.
I have a serious question, Rat Boy.
He has a serious question.
Okay, if I buy you a Fudgy the Whale, if I buy you a Fudgy the Whale cake, will you eat the entire thing on camera for us?
Oh, you're gonna throw up.
Would you order him a Fudgy the Whale cake?
Oh, I would want
that.
if he did the whole, but he has to like just beast the whole thing on camera.
All right, my answer is I would do anything to be on camera.
All right, then we're gonna see if we can make this work.
You're gonna be like Klondike, but it's a fudgy whale cake or whatever you called it.
I think we do this around December, or for like a Thanksgiving show.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, I was gonna say maybe the drunken episode, but yeah, no, that might be better.
Well, because the only reason I don't immediately say the drunken episode is a lot of times I'm not around for it.
Not to mention the fact that it's hard to produce something like that when you're drunk.
That's also a drawback. But okay, check this out, Brady.
Check this out.
Wrestling has a tradition.
Oh, did you
shut up, Rat Boy. We're planning how you're going to to do this stuff on camera.
Okay. This has nothing to do with you, Rat Boy.
Okay, Rat Boy does.
Okay. I'm
gonna come back to you.
So wrestling has this tradition of doing big shows on or right around Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, I'm not doing this on Thanksgiving.
No, I know. I said right around. So like the Tuesday show. That Tuesday show, I think that's the show we do it.
Okay. Last year you guys got Kevin Sullivan. This year you got Rat Boy eating a cake. Sorry, guys.
Diabetic coma.
The show must go on.
Nobody's gonna care.
Look that up right now.
I'll bet you. I'll put that in the description. Rat Boy eats a fudgy whale cake. We're not giving him. We're not giving him utensils, right?
Oh no! He's got to just use his hands and just kind of shovel it in.
Or whatever utensils are available to him. We'll get a real good insight into how he eats. How's that sound, Rat Boy?
I don't care. You know, it would be great, and let's do it, and let's make some headway to everybody on YouTube and all that other stuff. You know, get the most new and
60 seconds.
Then it might go viral. You know.
Yeah.
Or 4,000 views in one night. You never know what's going to happen.
It might, or it might get no views. You know, it could go either way. We'll have to see. Yeah, but no, I think it'll be good. No, Harry didn't call in tonight, so yeah, no, Harry. We are going to move forward. We are going to move forward with the roast of Harry, though. I think it's a good idea. Only because I think it could get us Kenny Bolin, which I've been trying to get on the show for probably 10 years. And I think Kenny would do it to roast Harry.
Look at him. He blocked
10 seconds.
A little talk show that he has on Facebook.
Well, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. You don't think I'd block you if I couldn't block you on Blog Talk?
I told him that Donald Trump did not have no part of that doing that.
All right. Well, I don't want to talk politics.
The White House.
I don't want to.
And he said, bullshit. He said Donald Trump did do it and all this other stuff, and he blocked him.
It's all good, brother.
He didn't have no part of that meeting, you know?
I got a secret for you, Rat Boy. They're all crazy. All politicians are crazy.
And they're all bad people.
No, they're all clowns. They're bozos. Everyone.
Yes.
You're not wrong.
Hey, and from the mouths of babes, right? Thank you, Rat Boy. Great talking to you, brother.
I'll call you in next week around the same time, right? Around the same time.
Sounds like a threat. Take care, man.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Brady, you want to do some quick hits?
Yeah, I'd like to do some quick hits, and we'll get out of here. Actually, before we do the quick hits, Jim, I kept putting this off, and I can't believe I waited until the end of the show. But we're talking about this SWE out of Texas, this company that you've been watching. I mean, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's a company out of Texas. I started watching during the pandemic, trying to find something different, something to excite me a little bit. And it's an independent company out of the Texas area, mainly out of, it seems like Dallas. They do a lot of events in the Dallas area, but they also do things out in West Texas with the old funk NWA territory, and they do some stuff down in Houston. Teddy Long's their general manager. Mark Henry's involved with it. James Beard is involved with it. Those seem to be the guys behind the scenes. Kevin Sullivan was doing commentary. I don't know if he's still there with them or not. But they've got a lot. They bring people in that you would know for special main events and whatnot for their shows. But they also have a good array of talent that they use. A lot of their people, a lot of the younger talent comes out of Rodney Mack's school. So Rodney Mack's involved and Jazz is involved. Go on YouTube, check it out. They've got, I don't know how many episodes, but they have a weekly show that airs in Texas. And that's what kind of attracted me to them. I wanted to see how, what kind of what a local promotion is doing nowadays. And they've got good quality promotional stuff. Their lighting's nice and everything, decent ring. Like I said, they've got some really talented people that I like. The one guy I really like the most is Ryan. Oh crap! I'm gonna mess up. I don't know why I'm messing up his name all of a sudden.
That's what happens when you're live.
Yeah, really.
Live, pal.
No, who was the Stro? Help me here. Who was the cowboy? Mantell. Ryan Mantell. The kid's name is Ryan Mantell. He used to go by Moonshine Mantell, and he had a great feud with someone down there for a little while, and it'd build and build, and it was just it's nice to see a story build.
That's cool.
So I think you guys should check it out. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. Pick an episode, that you guys want to, check out. They have Miranda Gordy, Terry Gordy's daughter, who's really good.
Okay.
She's great. Yeah.
She was at that Empower show.
Yeah, they've got some really good women down there. They're really talented. Jazz is running the women's division.
Oh, I love Jazz.
Yeah, it's really cool to check out. Like I said, I wanted to find an indie promotion that seems to be on local television, and there aren't very many left that can get local television. That's one of the problems around here in the Philadelphia area. No local promotion can get television because it costs so much because of the market. But at smaller markets, you can still find stuff like that. So that's what I was looking for, and that's what I got. So check it out.
That's really cool.
SWE Fury is the name of the show.
It's funny.
SWE Fury. Go ahead, Derek.
I just watched it. It's funny he brought that up. I just watched the show because my buddy who lives in Texas knows. I have this thing for liking random wrestlers, and Charlie Horse is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
Yeah, I didn't mention him, but he's doing great down there.
That's awesome.
ECWA guy, by the way.
Charlie Horse. Yeah, Charlie Horse is there. The episode I watched, it was Charlie Horse. It was Eddie, the aforementioned Jacob Fatu was on the show. I think who else was on that show? Eva Lise.
Yeah.
I believe AEW not too long ago. Rodney Mack was on the show. Yeah, I was watching the show, and it's funny he brought it. And I remember I was watching it, and I go, "This is the type of wrestling I miss. It's just good old fashioned
exactly
independent wrestling." And it's it's so different than what's on TV. It's like a breath of fresh air.
And Charlie Haas is their champion. And it's not the Charlie Haas you're used to seeing. He's completely changed his gimmick and his style and everything. It's really something to check out.
This looks really good. I'm looking at their website now, and this looks like it might be actual. This looks like there might be actual talent putting this show together.
Having not seen this, I'll tell you what Jim, if you remember, after ECW closed on late night access 5 nights a week, they'd have a different independent company. Do you remember this? And it was one of them was Saw out of Nashville. I used to love watching Saw every week. It was Saw. There was Gorgeous Ladies of Oil Wrestling briefly. That was another favorite of mine. Totally different style, but definitely enjoyable. But there was a bunch of them, and it was I miss that. I miss being able at hey, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm up. Let me turn on local affiliate and watch random wrestling from a bar. And why that's cool is because all the independents in this area tend to use a lot of the same talent, But this is kind of being exposed to people that I haven't really seen. I maybe only read about or have never heard of at all. So I'm going to give everybody that as a homework assignment for this week, I think. Like you said, SWE Fury it was?
Yes.
Yeah, check it out on YouTube. And
you can get their shows on YouTube.
Okay.
Full shows.
Yeah, so everybody check that out. for sure.
Sullivan, the commentary there is great.
Yeah,
I love hitting Kevin the commentary.
Yeah, and he hasn't
Kevin's
been on
amazing.
the last handful of weeks. I don't know if he's still there or not, but he was involved with the booking of the shows and everything. And yeah, I love Kevin anyway.
Oh, same here.
This is great.
Absolutely.
This is great because I was just saying to my girlfriend, there are just not enough hours of wrestling in a week. You know? I mean, I feel like that the 57 that are on TV now, that just won't do it for me. No, but I seriously, I want to check out something different. So that'll be really cool for sure. I will definitely be checking that out. I want to do some quick hits if that's okay, guys. Just get your gut reaction to a couple different kind of funny things from around the industry that I've observed. One thing, I don't know if you guys saw what we were talking about Roman Reigns earlier. Derek, did you hear what he said about the crowds that are cheering for him?
No.
It's amazing. We have a fast food oriented audience nowadays. It's what have you done for me lately? Everybody wants some kind of change as soon as they feel like they've gotten the portion that they were looking for. I don't know. I thought it was funny, the fast food thing. Like it's true. People that watch WWE, they're like fast food fans.
That's true. You're right. They and I don't know if it's because they've been programmed to be like that, but you're right. They're not much into the long game and waiting. They want it now and they want it right now.
I don't know if you guys saw this too, but Jim Ross, it feels like he's the only one that's kind of honest about AEW sometimes. He was the one that made that comment last year about the dives and like everybody just standing around waiting to catch somebody. So he said that just adding titles to the programs is really what you call a bullshoot. I just thought that was great. just when you're all about the titles, for sure. We talked earlier about Flair and Nia Jax, an aggressive, physical, tight match. I thought Charlotte did a really good job selling, and I suspect it's because she was concussed from earlier in the match. Between the whiplash and I don't know, some of those strikes were just really physical. A lot of people are saying it was a shoot. The experts that we've had tonight, Derek, didn't seem to think so. What did you think about Nia Jax and Charlotte from last night?
I've obviously never been in a wrestling ring, but I've been in fights. I've seen fights. I've seen people
knuckle up.
And there was
I've never knuckled up.
Charlotte,
sorry.
Also trained fighters. No, there was parts where Charlotte was almost waiting for Nia to hit her. And I would imagine if you're in a shoot or something like that, you're not going to sit and wait for your opponent to punch you in the face so you can punch them back. So I think they kind of wanted to be physical. They wanted to look like they were physical, and they got lost somewhere along the way. And Nia just started throwing hands at poor Charlotte.
Yeah.
I don't think they were in the ring like actually going after each other. I think it was booked to go a certain way, and they kind of lost their way and then got it towards the end.
And Jim, an old ECW colleague of yours, recently released from prison, Tammy Stitch.
Oh.
Everybody loves Sonny, right?
He was in prison.
Yeah, Sonny, sadly. But, she's out. She did an interview this past weekend with Bill Apter, I saw, and she talked about how she wants to get her real estate license.
That's good.
Seems like a noble goal. I feel like a lot of wrestlers are doing that now, getting the real estate license.
Yeah, it seems like that.
Mordecai.
And I understand Rick Steiner is really successful real estate down in Georgia. Yeah. So, give it a try. Real estate market's big right now. Get into it.
Hurts a lot less.
Yeah, well,
just differently.
If you get the sales, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Fresh off its round of releases, WWE signed a bunch of second-generation talent. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Joseph Fatu, the brother of the Usos, was that who we were talking about earlier?
So I did.
No, that was Jacob Fatu.
That's Jacob. That's right.
Brady, I did see this story, and let me tell you, I think these young men have nowhere to look but up after the wonderful job that WWE did with the children of Rotundo. and
DiBiase,
and then DiBiase,
Rhodes,
the McGillicuddies,
Hennig. I think after
McGillicuddy, and
I think after all of that, I think these young men have no place to look but up. The sky's definitely a limit for them. Maybe not the only one, but it's definitely a limit.
Even if you happen to be Ben Buchanan.
Yes.
Sure.
Oh, Bull Buchanan's son.
Yeah. Bull Buchanan committed to doing the show in 2009, and I have yet to hear back, but I have no doubt he's coming on soon. I cornered him in an elevator.
Don't they have Rick Steiner's son in developmental?
They do, yeah. Kathy was talking about that. I haven't heard one thing from him since they signed him.
So that must be he's like his father and his uncle. they're hiding him.
But,
could be.
I'll say this. They don't usually mess up on the NOI family guys. They usually take care of those guys. So I think the Usos' younger brother, I think he'll be okay, just because Vince has a soft spot for that family. They usually get a lot of opportunities to fail before Vince gives up on them. Usually.
I think Vince is afraid of them.
He could be.
If you ever heard the stories of Alpha and Sika coming down from the balconies down in San Francisco to beat up on Ray Stevens after he was beaten on
oh my God,
on Peter Maivia.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you see Alpha and Sika in the front row truck climbing over the fence.
Oh my God, I remember when they did the WrestleMania thing where Roman was supposed to get the title, and then they changed it last minute, and Seth Rollins cashed in. All the Samoans were pissed about that. Like they were like, yeah. Just funny.
And there's stories about Vince partying like in the late 70s, early 80s at like Studio 51, and there's stories that he would take Alpha and Sink out with him on the town, and they would be his personal security guards to make sure nobody.
I'm sure.
New York City. So yeah.
I mean, I've met Sam and I met his son Lance, and they're big guys and they're sweethearts if you're nice to them. But I wouldn't want to be on the other side. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. One last thing, and this is just purely like it's not really news. I don't know. I found it really stupid the way they did it. So Goldberg, after Bobby Lashley attacked his son, has announced that he no longer wants Bobby Lashley's title. Now he wants his soul. See, I would rather have the title because I feel like there's more opportunity for growth there. I feel like if I really wanted to hurt him, I would maybe take the title before I went for the soul, which I think would be a little bit harder to get to. Just my thought, but that's his
How do you get the soul out of him? What do you reach up into or down
he
into?
actually explained. Yeah, he actually explained. He said that he trying to find it. I'm coming for Bobby Lashley's soul, and I will rip it straight from his chest. So the soul is in the chest. I think he means heart. I think he means heart.
You know what, though? I like Brady. I think that's a good slogan for this show. The soul is in the chest.
Well, I was gonna say Bobby is a brother, so maybe he wants to go over to Bobby's house and have some collard greens and sweet potatoes.
He's gonna take his soul.
Soul food.
No, he's gonna take his soul. He's gonna steal his R&B albums.
Yes, he wants all the Michael Jackson albums, all the Hall & Oates. Yes.
So not the bottom of
the Prince stuff.
Hall & Oates.
Babyface.
That may have been the funniest line of the night.
And by the way, his son jumped on Lashley. You get what you get, kids. They had to go on folks' business. That's what happened.
Better watch out. They're going to be signing Gage Goldberg to a developmental deal.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be next.
He named his child
Gage and Gordon.
Gage. Oh my God, Gage. Jesus.
Unrelated, but since we're talking about parents and their children and the parents being overbearing, is Rey Mysterio going to turn on his son? Because he has been lecturing him almost nonstop. This poor kid can't. The kid wins, and you're still telling him how he needs to focus and try harder. Like, what kind of a... I know what they're doing. I know eventually Dominic is going to turn on him, but I feel like Dominic will be totally justified when he just turns around and pops him. Because he has been at his throat constantly. He's practically blaming Dominic that they lost the titles, even though Ray's the one getting pinned almost every time.
Getting pinned, yeah. He's losing every match they have.
Like, what the hell, Dad? Jim, was Ray always this overbearing?
I don't think Dominic was around when Ray was in ECW.
Probably not.
Was he? I don't think he's old enough to have been there.
I don't think so. Because he was little. He was like, maybe at the, I don't know, yeah, because he was like pretty young, like probably 7 or 8, right? When like Eddie Guerrero wanted to be his poppy. He was young.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Dewey Foley hanging around when he was like 3 years old. But
yeah, King Dewey.
Yeah.
All right, Brady.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. So everybody has their assignment for this week. Definitely check out SWE out of Texas. It's on YouTube, so be sure to check. What was the name of the show again, Jim?
Fury.
SWE Rival? Fury. SWE Fury. So be sure to check that out. And as a side, I checked out NWA Empower, and it was a great show. I definitely recommend it. I honestly think it was as good as the effort that WWE did when they did the Evolution one. You know, I thought it was really good. So check it out. I haven't seen the NWA the men's show yet, but that'll be next. That'll be probably. I might even start it tonight when we get off the air if I'm still feeling electric enough. Steve, thank you for the time tonight, brother. Thanks for hanging around with us.
Hey, quick update. Malcolm is okay. I have mutual friends with Malcolm, and I think he's living in the Carolinas, so he's all right.
He's still good. Okay.
One of his mutual friends told me.
Tell his mutual friend he should call in next week. We miss him.
All right. I'll try to.
Is it Steve? Is it John Samey? Is that the mutual friend?
That's one of his mutual friends. No, that's one of his mutual friends, but no, Adam Helms, the guy I was talking to.
I don't know him. Oh, he always says Adam. Okay, and I always ask him if it's Adam Copeland. I got you. But it's not.
No, Adam Helms, baby.
Well, I'm glad he's okay.
And then I wanted to mention it's so cool that Gangrel and the Brood are super relevant in 2021. Like Gangrel almost got booked by AEW.
Yeah, that was another thing I didn't even mention. Yeah, so he was apparently. I'm sorry, Ray. Ray's got one foot out the door already. Just real quick. So Gangrel was set to get booked by AEW. Until WWE did the thing with Edge and the Brood and the music and the bloodbath, and AEW canceled the booking.
The entrance, yeah.
Everything.
Well, they did. I heard they
Christian called Edge.
So.
No, apparently.
You think Christian called Edge?
Apparently, Edge called Gangrel to see if he saw it, and Gangrel said, "Yeah, I saw it, brother, and it was great." He's like, "But it did cost me a booking, so you know."
Yeah,
and
but
Edge
he got
said
paid
he felt
for
horrible
it.
about it.
Yeah.
I heard he got paid for it. Even though they
Gangrel?
didn't bring him in. Yeah, they still paid him.
Oh, good. Okay. Oh, good. I didn't hear that. Well, that's good. I'm glad.
And I worked and I refereed
I
refereed a match with Gangrel about 3 weeks ago, and he's still in
yeah,
top
that's
form.
right.
Him against
he looks
Warhorse.
great.
Yeah,
he
worked
did
great.
He did a. Oh, that's awesome. He did a brief appearance in ECW with Tommy Dreamer, I think. So shout out to Singing and Banging podcast with Kid Cadet and Gangrel.
Yeah.
Get that out
I ought to reach out to him. Maybe he would come back on. We had Gangrel on years ago, and he had fun.
He's working with a promotion down in Florida, CCW, Coastal Championship Wrestling. So, I'm sure he'd be willing to come on and promote that.
That'd be cool. We should definitely. I'll reach out to him.
I know he had GWA, Gangrel's Wrestling Asylum, but Brady, what were you going to say?
I was going to say goodbye, so.
Yeah, just I guess keep banging and banging. I'm going to keep wandering into Hopeless Night. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for sticking around, brother. We'll talk to you real soon. All right. Ray, you got anything you want to plug? You good?
Oh, Coastal Championship Wrestling sounds great.
You sound like you're falling asleep. All right. Derek, you got anything for us?
I have nothing to promote. I just want to say I heard Ric Flair say he's interested in wrestling Sting and Darby Allin alongside Andrade, and please Rick know. That's it.
Jim, anything you want to plug on the way out of here? By the way, thanks for sticking around tonight. We had a great time.
Yeah, I know.
With
It's
you.
way past my bedtime. Us old farts
I
go
know.
to bed early.
We ran a little later tonight.
That's why we get the Blue Plate special, because we go to bed early.
Oh,
no, thanks for having me on. It was fun. Like I said, we'll try this. We'll try this again next week. We'll talk about SWE, and I'll see you in a few weeks at ECWA.
Yeah, that's September 18th down up there in Morganville, New Jersey. Stro, what do you got going on, man?
This Thursday night, WCW Retro, Giants, Beasts, and Monsters. So please call in. Should be a good time. And the Friday night, the Stro Zone at midnight Eastern Standard Time at facebook.com/Stro the Maestro. The feature will be Terror in the Midnight Sun. So please tune in.
Okay, and as I mentioned, ECWA 54th anniversary show. Jim Molineaux will be there. I'll be there, and it'll be a great time. Be sure to come check it out. I saw that Sean Carr is going to be coming back to ECWA to challenge Monsieur Oolala for the ECWA heavyweight title. Lots of great matches. We're going to do a preview as we get closer, and probably get a couple of people on from the show just to get their thoughts on the event. 54 years on independent wrestling, and I know a lot of people say that it's not legit, that 54 years, but I can tell you, Jim Kettner started running in 1967. I mean, that is a legit fact. So ECWA, just absolutely a tremendous top-notch organization. Everybody should be sure to check it out. And tickets and information for the show, ECWAWrestling.com. I wanted to say thank you to Jim Molineaux for coming on tonight. And honestly, Jim, we'll have you back anytime. I loved it. I thought it was absolutely great. I'm glad to hear that you're excited and want to come back next week, so that is tremendous. Thank you to all the callers. Thank you to the best crew I could ask for, Kathy, Stro, Derek, Ray, Jim now, and Matt as well on sabbatical. Best of luck, brother. And that's about it. Everybody take care of yourselves. Oh, VOC Nation. Check out all the great shows on the network. Just go to VOCNation.com. Live and on-demand content each and every day of the week. Check out VOC Nation on your favorite podcast platform, on YouTube. Be sure to search for us on Patreon. If you click on the little premium tab there on VOCNation.com, it'll take you right there. And we're running for a limited time some rare footage from Bill Apter archives from over the years. So be sure to check that out on the premium site. I think that's going to do it. Everybody take care. Be good to each other. I love you all very much. And we'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.